This video goes through fairly quickly a number of key ideas for the foundation paper. The latter questions also overlap with the grade C on the higher paper. Right, first question, a few key circle terminology. Now a radius, we all know, is just a line from the centre to the circumference. An arc is just part of the curved outside. So there's an example of an arc. This section here, when it's been shaded, this area is called a sector, and any line passing through a circle in such a way is called a chord. It's certainly worth learning these four pieces of vocabulary. Question 4, a few key number facts. Now we've got some numbers given to us which we must place within this grid. Quick reminder about square numbers. They go 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, etc, etc, etc. Right then, first number, 4. This is a square number, so it's in this column down here. And it's also a factor of 20, because 4 goes into 20, so 4 goes into here. 10. 10 is not a square number, but 5 is certainly a factor of 10, so 10 goes into this column, and it's also a factor of 20, because 10 goes into 20. Now 30 is not a square number, but it's certainly a multiple of 5. It's not odd, it's not a factor of 20, but it certainly has 6 as a factor. Now 36 is a square number, it's not odd, it's not a factor of 20, but it is certainly a multiple of 6. 49, square number and odd, so that goes in there, and 125 is an odd number, and 5 is certainly a factor, so 1, 2, 5. This question now just looks at patterns in numbers. Now then, we all know that odd numbers go 1, 3, 5. The next one, of course, will be 7. That's the 4th odd number, so therefore the answer is 7. Now, to find the 10th odd number, we could write them down. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, that's the 5th. Then 11, 13, 15, 17, 19. That is the 10th odd number, so 19 is the 10th odd number. So how could we find the 100th without writing down a full list? Well, if you think about it, the 5th is 9, the 10th is 19, then it'll go 29 is the 15th, 39, 49, 59, 69, 79, 89, 99. The 5th, 10th, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, that's the 50th odd number. So the 100th, using the pattern, would be 199. So this question is asking just for patterns within what you observe. Question 6. How many yards are there in 1 mile? Now then, we know that 1 mile is 8 furlongs. However, because 1 furlong is 10 chains, 8 furlongs must be 80 chains. And then 1 chain is 22 yards, so 80 chains will be 80 lots of 22. Now then, rather than rush this, we could do this properly. So we could put a grid method, if in doubt. 8, 0, 2, 2. Put your lines down. 16, 0, 16, 0. Add up the diagonals. 0, 6, 7, 1. The answer is 1760. Be careful not to rush these sort of calculations. Next question is about estimation. Now the word estimate is not asking you to work out an actual answer. It is saying, here's a calculation. Why is this roughly 800? Well, if we round both these numbers to the nearest 10, we have 20 lots of 40. Well, 2 lots of 40 is 80, so 20 lots of 40 is 800. That's how we can estimate this particular calculation. And then for this estimation, we call 596 the same as 600. We call 31 30. And then how many 30s are there in 600? Well, there are 2 in 60, so there'll be 20 in 600. So estimation is about rounding those calculations to get nice whole numbers. Pie charts. This is about reading a pie chart. Now, we know that when we've got a complete situation, the percentages must always add up to 100%. And the question here says, what percentage of the students went into employment? Well, we've got 20, 10 and 25 in the other groups, which makes 55 in total. So the percentage left over must be 45%, because those two add to make 100%, so therefore 45% went into employment. However, how many actually went to college, which is this group here? We're told there are 300 students, so we must work out what 20% of 300 actually is. Well, to find 10%, we just divide by 10. So 10% of 300 is just 30. So 20% of 300, we just double that and get 60 pupils who went to college. Question 12. Perimeter, of course, is merely the distance around the outside. Now, if we get a ruler and measure one of the sides, we find that it is 2 centimetres. So therefore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 times 2 is 12 centimetres. Perimeter is easy. Symmetry is merely reflections within the shape. You can draw all those on quite easily, because if I draw that line, it's the same either side, and I can therefore go through the entire shape, joining up the corners. So there are 3 lines of symmetry so far. However, we can also join it up like so, by cutting through the centre of the sides, because all those lines reflect and the shape is the same on either side. So there are 6 lines of symmetry there in the entire shape. Now then, it then says here are 3 hexagons joined together, and it says work out the size of an interior angle in the hexagon. Well, this here is an interior angle. It's the angle within the shape. Now if we look closely, there's one here, and one here. Now they form a full circle. Therefore in total there must be 360 degrees. But because there are 3 of them, to find one of them we must share this into 3, We therefore get 120 degrees. So therefore that is the size of one of the interior angles of a hexagon. We then look at some more geometry. Worth learning this, it's potentially very easy marks in the exam. Now, on a straight line, the angles always add to make 180 degrees. 70 plus 30 is 100, therefore x must be 180, take 100, which is 80 degrees. So why is he wrong? It's 80, not 90, because the angles add up to make 180. So therefore that's 80 degrees, angles add to make 180 degrees. Now 180 is a key number in a lot of geometry because it also is the angle within a triangle. Now there's 65, this here means 90, so there's 65 and a 90 in those two angles, which makes 155 degrees. So the angle of y must be whatever adds on to make 180. So we find the difference and find that y is 25 degrees. So again, 180 is a key angle which occurs on lines in triangles and makes these questions really rather easy to solve. Question 14 is just a calculation involving money. We've got 3 cans of cola, each costing £1.65. Sorry, the total cost being £1.65. So 3 cans equals £1.65. How much do 5 cans of cola cost? Well, if 3 cans are £1.65, 1 can must equal 55 pence. Because 55 lots of 3 gives you £1.65. So 5 cans must be 5 lots of this. Well, 5 times 50 is 250, and 5 times 5 is 25. So in total that is 275 pence, or £2.75. The key here is to find what one item costs and then use that to find the required 5 cans in the question. Now, question 15 asks about probability. Now then, the key thing here is that in any given situation, these numbers here, the probabilities, will always add to make 1. Absolutely essential. Now 0.6, 0.1 and 0.1 make 0.8, so therefore the missing number here must be 0.2. So, in this bag, which coloured disc is the most common? It must be red. It's got the highest chance of occurring. What's the chance of getting a green? 0.2. As shown above, they add to make 0.8. And 1 take away 0.8 equals 0.2. And then, what's the chance of a white disc? Well, there are no white discs in the bag. So therefore the chance of a white is 0. And then, because there are 100 coloured discs in the bag, and the chance of a red is 0.6, then there must be 60 red discs in the box. Because 60 out of 100 is the same as 6 out of 10, which is the same as 0.6. Now, on question 16, this involves fractions of amounts. 1/4 of the people are in conference room 1, 1/3 in conference room 2. There are 600 in total. Well, 1/4 of 600 means divide that number by 4, that's 150. 1/3 of 600 means divide it by 3, that must be 200. So there are 150 people in conference room 1, 200 in conference room 2. Add them together, we get 350 people. So the rest are in conference room 3, 600 take 350 gives us 250 people in conference room 3. Now, just a bit of algebra to almost finish off. Again, easy scope to get some great marks towards your grade C. Now, we're given two values, and we want to work out this expression here for these given values. So we've got a half of x, which is 10, minus 3 lots of y, which is 2. Well, a half of 10 is 5. 3 times 2 is 6, and 5 take away 6 is minus 1. And then in part B, A, B, C, A is 10, B is 2, C is 0, 10 times 2 is 20, times by 0 equals 0. And then some algebra. We take 4 from both sides. W must equal 6. And on this equation, there are now two parts to solve it. First of all, we add 2 to both sides. So 7x equals 3x plus 10. We then take 3x from both sides. So 4x must equal 10. And to finish off, we divide by 4. X must equal 10 divided by 4. That's a fraction, which we can also write as 2.5. Now the final one, which is quite a tricky one, has got a fraction. It's over 4. Now the trick here is to times by 4 to begin with. So we get 3y plus 11 equals 8. We then take 11 from both sides. This gives us 3y equals 8 take 11 minus 3. We then divide by 3, so y equals minus 3 divided by 3, which equals minus 1. And that is the answer to the algebra question. Now to finish off,